Hello, welcome to your reading, Jessica. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So I will go back and forth between sharing the screen and showing my bearded face. So let's share. So I know nothing about you. We've spoken. I make it a point to not, and it is 7:30 a.m. I am a very Aquarian person that doesn't give a shit about what time you're supposed to go to bed. I don't see the point in waking up early when I don't live by a beach and it's 40 degrees Celsius, like 100 degrees outside, and I can't do anything. And like, what the fuck is the point? So for me, I only work at night, and I'm only intuitive at night / morning / when it's dark, and when I get on a roll. So here we go. All right, so this is quite a, I was looking at this chart for a little bit. I was like, seems like a relatively straightforward chart. And 1 second, did I start my timer? Yes, I did. I'm trying to keep my readings to an hour. It's challenging. And here's Mika, which I have to show you. This is why it's challenging, because you have a little Mika who comes, which is usually a sign, because Mika's an Aries. My eyes are looking kind of red. Allergies. No matter if I take Claritin or anything, I always have red eyes. Mika. So she is has nothing to do with your chart. So let's go ahead. Maybe I should put some eye drops in. Not bad. What's wrong with this eye? It was not like this like 20 minutes ago. Anyways, whatever. Who cares? So, straightforward chart. You're really, in this lifetime, in past lifetimes, you've been someone who has been a very big healer. My cat's kissing me. You've been someone who has been very much, well, there's a lot of things going on with the South and North energy, right? Over here and over here. But as you can see, Mika, there's a ton of Capricorn energy, a ton. And it includes the North Node, which is the destiny mark, like where you're trying to get in this lifetime, right? And then, we have Moon and Virgo. So we have a lot of Earth, and we have a elemental grand trine, meaning you have a personal planet in all 3 Earth signs. So you have an excess of Earth, as you see down here, and absolutely 0 air. So let's go back to showing my screen. Wait 1 second. Something just went off. 1 second. I need to pause this. Okay, somehow some YouTube article or video just started going off without like in like a completely different tab. No idea. So we have Mika here. So yeah, lots of Earth in your chart. So let's start off with that, right? Someone who has lots of Earth in their chart with their North Node in an Earth sign, it's clear that in this lifetime they're trying to learn lessons of the material, lessons about grounding, lessons about showing up, right? Lessons about really stepping up and finding their place in the world and being successful in this material realm, right? That's not to say that there's no spirituality or any of that stuff. Obviously, you're getting an astrology reading, and I will show Mika. Mika can. And share the screen if she would let me. Come on, share. Mika, you're stepping on my thing. Okay, so yeah. So when you have a ton of Earth there can be a level of stagnancy. You're born in 91. Okay, so love having my people born around the same time as me. It's always very interesting. But what can happen is that there can be a level of stubbornness, right? There can be a level of closed-mindedness. Not always, don't worry, not always. There's always the high and low level of manifestation of each potential energy. But yeah, lots of earth can obviously, it creates someone who's very consistent, but sometimes there can be like a level of sadness. I'm gonna open up a kombucha. There can be a level of sadness with Capricorn, especially. It can be melancholic. With Virgo, your moon, there can be anxiety. So there can be some issues when you have lots of earth and not air, because air is the energy that allows you to see other people's perspective, right? You see here, this is earth, this is all earth, this is earth. This ascendant is Cancer. It's very similar to a lot of these other energies. It's an opposite sign of Capricorn, which means that it's the same energy but just the opposite manifestation. And it's very, very similar to Virgo. So lots of that feminine energy. Is very feminine chart. And then you do have some fire. I mean, you have your Mercury in Sagittarius. So that's kind of like out of the big six personal planets, that's the one that's like meh, and then your Jupiter is a middle planet in Leo. That's doesn't really count, right? It's kind of it's like that. And the outer planets, we don't really look at their sign. I mean, you do, but like for the purpose of keeping this reading not 1,000 hours long, it relates more to the house placement, the outer planets, basically. In terms of importance and in the way I do astrology, right? Of course, like it does, like having like Pluto in Capricorn, like wait, hold up. I mean, Saturn, Pluto in Scorpio. Everyone between 84 and 98, born between those times, had that. So it's like, it matters more when you're like conversing or speaking to people from different generations. Like in my case, just like an example, like I have I'm not gonna get into it. Basically, like I always date women who were born after 98, because their Pluto is in Sagittarius, and I have a square between my Pluto and Venus. So that's where it can, when there's like large enough age differences, like with parents, stuff like that, that's where it can make a difference. But like, this is a natal chart reading. So yeah. And also I wanna go grab something really quick, because I keep having it's this thing I've been having lately where I'm doing readings and I don't want to call them downloads, because they're not downloads, they're ideas, but I'm having like lots of ideas of videos and just things I want to learn about more. So I need to write this down really quick. And don't worry, this isn't cutting into the time. Okay, so wrote that down. Just like, something that I wanna like kind of relearn about. But yeah, so with this this chart, lacking air, with all that earth, right, it can make us, and also lacking fire, right, because Jupiter is a middle planet, right? It's kind of, it will give a touch, but it's not like the inner planets. So the six, the sun, moon, and rising, and then the Venus, Mars, and Mercury, and of course you do have, I guess, fire. You kind of have it covered. You do have your Mercury there, so the way you think and the way you talk. But like, those are the ones that we look at, and yeah, you're really missing, air and fire, but mostly air. and those are the two masculine energies. So there can be issues with self-starting. There can be issues, especially with air. When you don't have air, I'll show my face again. I might go get some eye drops. My Leo rising is like, I don't want to look at this. Maybe I haven't had enough water. But yeah, so basically, and I'm gonna talk and grab some eye drops and some water. But with the lack of air, there can be issues around not being able to see, someone else's perspective. There can be issues around communication. Just kind of that social butterfly energy that you find in the air signs of, and the ability to really like socialize at a high level, that you find in signs like, Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. You can think of like what you know about those signs and imagine like what they all have in common, which is this real social ability, right? Having a lot of earth can be great for some purposes, but can also lead to a level of stagnancy in other areas, right? So you got to watch out for that. Like overly earth people can really, really get caught up. You know what I mean? Like they can really, really get in positions where they're just like not moving towards their purpose, right? So how to combat that is first, just the awareness. People underrate, what getting a reading from someone like me, and whether it's your first time hearing it or not, can do, right? Understanding I don't have earth, okay, like, I need to, or I have a lot of earth, excuse me, I need to push myself in the areas of life that concern earth. And by the way, like, just so you know, I like to stand up and walk around when I do readings sometimes. I pop in and out. It just helps me think. Like I've always been someone that like has like really amazing downloads when I'm hiking or moving. So movement helps me, especially when I'm like doing back to back readings. This is my second of probably 4 or 5 at 7 a.m. Crazy, right? But yeah, in essence, like, there's a real need to get different perspectives, and to hear other people's point of view, and to understand that there may be a limitation in that capacity, right? Now, also, there's a big need to understand the power that comes with having lots of earth, right? And that is the power of consistency, the power of being able to show up every day. And I always say, like, it sounds kind of sociopathic, but like kind of be a similar version of yourself day after day, right? So that I consider to be a very, very strong asset with Earth. Now, in your case, it's mostly Capricorn. Obviously, Capricorn is all about success. It's all about honor at the highest level, honor, doing things like the right way. And one second. I know I look like I'm distracted, but I literally can do like 1,000 things at once. Just for a wallet. Like MLK is the perfect example of like high energy Capricorn, right? Someone who believes in what they do and who keeps fighting, especially with all the setbacks. So let's talk about setbacks, right? Because Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And what Saturn does, I'll put these eye drops in when I show the chart the next time. But what Saturn does, so for you, you're born in 91, so you're, wow, okay, so this is very, very perfect timing for this reading. Your Saturn return just happened. So I don't want to like sound crazy when I say this, but it's almost like your life is like just starting, like from some level, Like because when you have Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, as I said, you have it like right, in that seventh house, and like in essence, cat hairs are enough. The Saturn return, a lot is released. So I'd be very curious. I think you booked a follow-up, if I'm not mistaken. If you didn't, you should. I mean, I would say 95% of the people who book sessions with me get follow-ups. It's just like the best. It's just the best thing you can do, because we have like a live talk, either over call or over Zoom, and we compare like everything I'm saying in this reading with your lived experience. And Jessica, no follow-up. Okay, cool. And I wrote super chill girl who said take your time, which I always appreciate so much. Makes me want to, even though I always go the extra mile, makes me want to go the extra mile. So yeah, so the Saturn return, this must have been like a very, very, I'm gonna put the eye drops in while I show you the chart. I'm not gonna make you watch me do that. Must have been a very, very clearing time for you, right? With all that Capricorn and and all that, and the Saturn ruled, not Saturn ruled chart, but just all the Saturn. I'm not sure, like I would have to talk to you to like understand like what happened, because Saturn returns are so unpredictable. Putting eye drops in, but there's definitely like a feeling of weight lift off your shoulders. Like literally, it's probably something. Eye drops that you could even feel physically. Especially if you're tapped in on like a metaphysical level. Now, as always, I didn't even have to look at your chart to know, like I have my eyes closed. It's like she's definitely a Sun in Capricorn, like conjunct Neptune. Like I swear, like nearly every Capricorn Sun client I have, like nearly all of them have their Sun conjunct Neptune, which kind of makes you like a Pisces Capricorn, right? That's like why you're interested in spirituality. So it's a different breed of Capricorn. It's like a Capricorn Pisces, right? So that's very, very, very important, because it gives you even more water, and it makes you a super empathetic person. But yeah, regardless, the first 30 years would have been really, really ruled by karma, different types of karma. You feel there'd be some level of like restriction that you may have felt, in who knows, many different areas of life. And yeah, like it's just not easy, right? But with that said, it creates this extreme resilience, this extreme ability to overcome setbacks and to move towards your goals. And once the Saturn return passes, it's like boom, like you're left with all that resiliency and all that power, but without that restrictive energy, that where it seems like you're taking one step forward and two steps back, and yeah. So Sun in Capricorn, Moon in Virgo, that's a very, they're trying each other. So that's kind of like if you were like a ship, your ship is headed in one direction. If there's two captains to the ship that is you, the Sun and the Moon, it's headed in one very similar direction, right? In Cancer, your Ascendant is also like similar, right? Now, Capricorn Sun, I don't really go into sun signs here, but it's more important that I talk about the fact that it is conjunct Uranus and Neptune, but it's exactly conjunct Neptune. Am I sharing right now? Okay, let's show this exact conjunction. Like, look at that. 14 degrees, 14 degrees. And then your descendants right there. So it's on an angle. So that makes you very relationship oriented. We'll talk about that. Talk about love. Don't worry. We're really going to get into love. And Uranus is close by. It's 5 degrees away. So you're a very unconventional and spiritual Capricorn. So you take like the very like beneficial parts of Capricorn, the ambition, the hardworkingness and all these other Capricornian traits, but you also have this access to like the other realms, and this ability to tap into universal consciousness and be super compassionate while also being very, rebellious, but not like in a way that like really necessarily bothers other people because it's a conjunction. Most people I know that have Sun conjunct Uranus are like witches, or like they're just very unpredictable people, very interesting and unpredictable people. So it really doesn't even matter about the sun sign. If anything, Jessica, like the fact that your sun's in Capricorn with that is going to help you, because it's going to really bring groundedness to this, because you 100% are a very spiritual person. It's just all over your chart, which is no surprise. You're getting astrology reading. But yeah, so that's kind of what Neptune is doing. You have to watch out. So in your chart, especially, like in this life, you're trying to become more of someone who can have relationships while still holding a position in society that sustains them. Relationships, all this Capricorn energy is in your 7th house of partnerships. It also has to do with like business partnerships, and with even like this relationship, like if you were a psychologist, one-on-one clients. And I like to think that like BFFs, like best friends, where it's one-on-one, like that kind of stuff. I like to think of that as 7th house. And also enemies, like not like open enemies, where it's not hidden enemies. The 12th house is hidden enemies. So with all that said, relationships play a huge role in your life, and you learn a lot from them. Now, you may have experienced a level of frustration because Saturn in that same house as your sun, with all this energy, can, especially at 29 degree, which is a very karmic degree of Venus, it can kind of push back these relationships until around this current time you're going through right now. So maybe there's something new that happened recently. But regardless, and am I still presenting? No, whatever, who cares? So regardless, the fact that your North Node, I like to show these things visually because a lot of my clients are like, I've learned, are visual learners. Even if they don't fully understand the chart, they can still remember. So you see in that cursor, North Node, which rules like highest destiny, where you're trying to get in this lifetime, conjunct Venus, like literally like right next to it. So I have that as well. And it basically means, in short, that one of your goals in this, like all your relationships are going to be extremely fated. There's a large level of fate that comes in your romantic, your partnerships, right? Now, with Saturn conjunct North Node, it just goes exactly with this other part, right? So like on one side, it's like you're trying to find the balance between like not being codependent in relationships, because in South Node in conjunct Chiron in the 1st house, I feel like you've been a healer in past lives. You've been someone who's always been there for the other person. You've been the mothering instinct is very, very easy. It's very easy for you to take on that role. And what it's done, and it's not a bad thing, but it's definitely kind of held you back from taking some of these talents you'd have and putting them into career, putting them into kind of your dharma, your life purpose, right? So that's one thing. That's one major goal. Like being more of a boss, being more of like, yeah, a boss, being more like really embodying that full Capricorn energy. So then with Saturn, right, it's the same thing, right? It's you know, it's basically saying that you're learning a lot through your relationships karmically. Like your karmic classroom is relationships. That's where and your sun being there too is like that's the arena of life where like a lot of stuff's gonna happen. Now I've had clients who have this and they're like, well, I'm not in a relationship and I always have issues with them. I don't imagine that being the case with you. My mom has a seventh house sun, and she was obviously married to my dad, but she's mostly been single since they divorced. While my dad's been just like had a million, not a million, probably like I don't know, like 8 different serious girlfriends or something like that. My mom's had like maybe like one, or I don't even know. She's just hasn't had the luck. So, and she has a seventh house sun. So it doesn't only mean that it means other. It means how you are mirrored and how you receive information in that kind of mirrored way about yourself, which then you take into through the zodiacal story to that Scorpio archetype of like, okay, I've received this information of how I am that I didn't know about, and I only knew about from relationships, right? And then I'm gonna like go through the shadow work to make me a better version of myself. That's kind of what it means, as opposed to like you're always going to be in relationships and that's the only focus, blah blah blah. But with that said, there will be a major focus, and the more serious ones, that the long lasting ones with that karmic glue, will likely be starting after Saturn return, which has already just happened. Not to say that there weren't some before, but and they're all very karmic, and there may have even been some long-term ones. It's just that a lot of times Saturn in the 7th house, at least by itself, it makes it so the person kind of just doesn't have those relationships until later. But in your case, it could be different with all this energy. So let's go back to me. Are the eyes better? These eye drops are like horrible. I just don't like using Visine. Visine clears everything right away, but whatever. But yeah, I forgot to drink water. So with all that Capricorn, right? It's a mix, like karmically for you, of like on the spectrum of like codependent in relationships to like being too independent. It's like finding that balance, that middle ground, right? That's very important. Now, on the level of inner life versus outer life, home life, like mother life versus like career life, like both of those, you're trying to find a balance in, right? Because there's a karmic imbalance in both of those areas. So that's that. Now backtracking a bit, sun in the same sun, trine moon is very good. Like I said, and also the moon sextiles, the ascendant by, it sextiles the ascendant, which is another smooth flowing aspect. And basically, like your big 3 are very, very in line with each other. They're feminine energies. Capricorn isn't that feminine; it's just an Earth sign. But overall, like, you're someone who's consistent. You're someone who's probably very loyal. You're someone who's very responsible. But you're saved from being boring by this Neptune and Uranus being on your sun. A little about the moon, because I consider it like sometimes I say more important, but like let's just say like it's at equal importance to the sun. I'd say a little bit more, because like the moon is like what you need to be happy. Virgo moons, they really need life to like feel structure. Like they need to feel like their life is organized in a certain way. Um and there's also like, so they can be a little bit OCD. They're known to have like anxiety. So what's interesting, like Capricorn moons are known for having um issues with, wait, I just said Capricorn moons. I meant to say Virgo moons are meant to have issues with anxiety, while Capricorn can deal with depression a lot of times, right? And sadness and melancholy. So with Virgo moon, you really have to watch out for this perfectionism thing. Perhaps like, and having your sun trine your moon would speak to like a good relationship, like with your like between your two parents, like that their worldviews, their overall messages were quite in line with one another. But still, like, with Virgo moon, there could have been very high standards that you hold for yourself. Maybe it came from the mother, maybe it didn't. But at the end of the day, like, there's something with Virgo moons where they can devalue themselves, and they really have this need when we talk about relationships for perfection. So until they can get past like that need for perfection within themselves, that like 100 or 0 energy, they can tend to project that and be people who like are only wanting the perfect partner, and they're like, I'm holding off forever until I meet the perfect partner, and it's like this over idealized like person that doesn't exist. Not just, but either way, your relationships will be very faded. But you know, you gotta watch out for that, because Virgo moons can be very, very critical. Virgo moons feel comfortable when things are organized. They're very clean, obviously. They care a lot about their health. They care a lot about their, there's that link between body and mind. They can be workaholics, so they have to watch out for that. Very reliable. So in relationships, they're gonna want someone else who's reliable, who they know they can count on at all times. And they really notice the little things, right? And they really, really want to find security within those little things. So they feel most happy when their day-to-day life is structured, and there's a certain level of order and organization, right? But the thing with Virgo, which is so magical, is that its opposite sign is Pisces, and it's a mutable sign. So they can be like that, but at a higher energy, they let go of that, and they can become like so much like their opposite sign, where they're such go with the flow types who just like just let life happen, right? And they're like very, very, very spiritual and very empathetic as well, which you have all over your chart with that that Neptune on your sun. Like some of the most spiritual people I know are like people with charts like yours, like because like the earth, it's like the earth magic, right? And they, because earth, yeah, like they can have that natural balance and that natural like need to, especially Virgo moon, there can be like obviously, like I said, there can that potential for being like neurotic and that perfectionism. But once they learn that they really need to like take a breath and pause, get into something like meditation, or something that calms them, they can start diving into the highest energy of Virgo, which I call earth magic, right? Pisces is cosmic magic, and the opposite sign Virgo is earth magic. Like I was speaking to a Virgo the other day who was doing like really, really into alchemy. Because they're so good at organizing and like doing like the detailed work, they can really, really 1 second. Yeah, they can really be outstanding at whatever they put their mind to. It's just like, with the lack of masculine energy, it's about just getting that kick in the butt to start. But once they do, they can really go for the long haul, like just like the earth in general. Now, aside from that, it's in the 3rd house, so there's going to be a deep emotional need for you to communicate your truth. There's a strong need to communicate with people from all walks of life. And yeah, like you be someone who's very, very observant, and so you like to really express your ideas, really like to express your ideas and express yourself. There's an emotional need for you to do that. So that gives more implications to kind of partner. You would need someone who's also, communicative. Moon, like close to the IC. No, it's not close enough. Also, there could be a very strong link with siblings and with like your early like schooling period in childhood. Like that period of life can really like have marked you a lot. Not like in a bad way or anything, just general. So then the Cancer Ascendant, that just adds, it works really well with Virgo. It's like you have like the best mom energy with those two, right? Cancer Ascendant, they are ruled by the moon, so your chart's ruled by that Virgo moon, making it the Virgo moon even stronger. And yeah, just finding self-compassion through finding your own voice is the key. And having a medium, like if you're journaling or whatever you're doing, where you're able to communicate. Let me get some crystals out. Like communicate your truth and thank God, these bugs. Where can I? 1 second. I'm so sorry. I have to hide my food. They even hide it where they can't. I hate these bugs. I know I'm not supposed to hate creatures, but these little small bugs there's nothing more annoying. I know they're in here too. Okay, I think I found my closet. There's no way they can be in there. Why would they be in there? There's never been food in there ever. So yeah, earth magic. I could see you being like a witch for sure. Now with the Neptune conjunct Sun so close, you have to spend time alone. You have to know that about yourself. I mean, with the Cancer rising, I was just saying like that is going to make you very emotional. Like it's very important for you to follow the lunar calendar, because it's going to have more of an effect on you, like when there's a full moon or like anything going on like that, an eclipse or whatever. It's going to really, really affect you. So you're really following that, and even more so following, because you are a Virgo moon, you have this ability to really organize your life, and whether it's like I'm very Virgo, like I don't have any in my chart, but I'm Pisces, but like my schedule's all organized and stuff, and like I have like different like my life is organized, but like following the moon is very important. You can like see, like for example, like for me, whenever the moon's in Scorpio, because my Pluto's there and yours is too, I always plan for those days. But the thing about Virgo is that you want to like high Virgo, like you want to like not be so like overly planning, right? Because they can be like that, where they're just like and then that's where the anxiety comes from, because they're so like worried about like so Virgo moons, they have to take from the opposite sign Pisces, which is like just kind of going with the flow and just like just trusting the oneness and the divine, that everything will be okay, and just allowing things to kind of happen as they do, so yeah, it goes really well with your sun. The sun and Neptune, there's a deep compassion, this real ability to feel like the undercurrent, the collective unconscious, like have access to that. But like, you know, as a healer, especially like bringing in like past life heal, like being like a Chiron conjunct Neptune conjunct South Node, healing your past life, and Chiron being in your first house in this life, which means that like it's highly likely that you're some type of healer, like, you know, or at least, you know, maybe not professionally, potentially, yeah, with your midheaven in Pisces, which is, you know, ruled by Neptune conjunct your sun. There's a very high chance that like I could see being like a marriage counselor or something like that, like you know, something that helps, like or any kind of like any kind of like practitioner, like does any kind of work, right, where it's like one-on-one. Now let's think. So yeah, so but with the Chiron, okay, so the Chiron's there, it's in Cancer. So definitely like karmic pain around your family of origin. And that's something that like you know, because it opposes your, I guess it opposes your Venus. So that can definitely get in the way of your love relationships if you don't in your relationship with yourself, if you don't handle you know, any issues with your family of origin. And of course, you know, also that part that, you know, your family, obviously everyone's family is karmic, but there's lots of karmic implications with your family. And yeah, so with where was I? So yeah, with that's the Neptune thing. Besides that, you know, you have to like really learn to spend time alone. Sometimes you need to be a recluse, you know, with all the earth, and you know, you'll be able to really recharge yourself and really like tap in with the Uranus conjunct the sun, like in moments of meditation and silence. Like that's when you can like get your greatest downloads. And yeah, so that's kind of that. Now the fact that it's in the house of relationships, I already said that about the sun. It's making them a big part of your life. But with Neptune, there can be some of that more energy that I said before about like things not being as they seem, right? Like having rose-colored glasses in love, where you think you know, you see someone for their potential. So you have to watch out for like not letting energy vampires in, these types of people who take advantage of your kindness. I literally just said it to my last client. But the Virgo moon will be very discerning and very observant, and will really help you kind of like see physically, like see all the things, but it can still also sometimes have that effect. So let's see. I'm staring down these bugs. Yeah, you're in the Uranus, it's like all about like you being like a very freedom seeking, rebellious kind of individual, and someone who is you know, like very very individualistic, all about their own personal freedom, not just trying to follow any kind of molds, which is like, you know, Capricorn is like that. So maybe there's like a push and pull. We could, if we do the follow up, we could definitely talk about that and see if that's like a split or something that plays out in your life. Or like there's a party that wants to kind of be more traditional and conform, and another part that doesn't at all. Because with your North Node in Capricorn, you're being asked to be more responsible in this lifetime and to take on, you know, to take the talents that you've accumulated in past lives, these like kind of mystical healing talents, but that you've kept to yourself, you've kept close to home, maybe you've only used them with your own family, and to take those public, right? And that's shown with the midheaven being ruled by you know, Neptune, which is going to conjunct the sun exact. So with love, you know, like I said, it's all going to be very karmic. It's 29 degrees, so 29 degree Venus. I mean, like, you know, you're coming to the end of a karmic cycle as it relates to Capricorn Venus. So, you know, things would have really opened up in the last year or so, or since your Saturn return ended. And you know, 29 degrees can kind of have like a Piscean effect or a retrograde kind of like effect where it's like you're at the final test when it comes to love, and you're really, really like meeting like intense karma in that area of life. And it's very, very challenging, but it's challenging for a reason, because you're trying to get that next level, you're trying to level up. And you know, Venus in Capricorn on its own is about, you know, really valuing people who are loyal, people who you know, are successful in the sense of like they love what they do. This is alcohol, by the way, it's kombucha. And yeah, people who like what, you know, even if they're like in business or you know, in whatever field, it doesn't matter, like you'll be attracted. And Venus and Capricorn typically like older partners, like, or wise or mature, older ones that they can really depend on, who, you know, been through life experiences like you have. So you know, and someone yeah, like very, very reliable and very consistent, not boring though, because like it's like all those things. It's like a building where you build the solid foundation, right, before you build the big skyscraper. It's like you spend so much of the time on the foundation so it doesn't fall, right? And it's kind of same thing as the relationships. So with yeah, that's kind of that there. Now, I've already talked about how there's definitely going to be has been like lots of karmic restrictions in that area. But overall now things should really open up. And I was gonna get this book out. So I love the like 3 little keywords it gives me. One second. Where are you? Page that I look at. Oh, did I just come across a page that was like 7th house? Oh wow, it has everything. So I can actually talk. Let's see what it says about Uranus and Sun. Partnerships or marriage may come about suddenly for you. You're drawn to unusual people and likely to marry someone intellectually stimulating. As a team, you'll draw attention to, however, Uranus and Sun indicates the possibility of sudden divorce and remarriage. Good point, you're able to achieve goals through a marriage partner. Bad point, your need for independence may cause disruption or jealousy in the marriage. And then Neptune. In marriage and partnerships, you look for compatibility of spirit, common goals in life, or an artistic or religious vision that you share. However, as I said many times, an unrealistic or confused attitude about what you want in a partner may lead to the possibility of an illicit love affair while married. Ooh, I know about that. Good point, sensitive and responsive to needs of partner. It's also super, super romantic. Bad point, too easily swayed, open to disappointment. Now I want to push that away because it's in Capricorn, which is a very loyal sign. And what does it say about Saturn there? You are cautious about marriage and partnerships. You may delay getting involved until you are sure. You have to marry a widow or widower or someone older than yourself. So that. If there are no opposing influences in your chart, you benefit monetarily or socially through marriage. Good point. You take commitment to another person seriously. Bad point. Possible legal problems and setbacks of them. And in Venus, it says you look for harmony and fulfillment in both marriage and partnerships. You're affectionate, romantic, and popular with the opposite sex. At some point in your life, you are likely to gain prestige or financial benefit through a mate or partner. You tend to marry early and possibly more than once. Good point, you are a natural peacemaker. Bad point, resentful of others do not make the first move towards you. And then there's also Sun. Sun there says your promised success in marriage and in partnerships. Both should bring material, monetary, and social benefits. You may not marry young. Your spouse, you see it's counteracting, will probably be prominent or of good and honorable character. Sex is important to you in marriage. Good point, you're popular and know how to attract people. Bad point, clashes at times because you need to be dominant relationships. Now, I did not plan any of that, but I just like came across the page. I was like, damn, I didn't know this in this book. I'm looking for something else. But yeah, so then, you know, Juno, the asteroid that shows kind of like what we like our ideal partner is in Sagittarius conjunct your Mercury. So that's speaking to the fact that you really want to have someone that you can acquire lots of wisdom with. Someone who can, this is the 6th house of Virgo. So maybe you guys work together, you guys are like of service together. Because also at Virgo Moon, there's an emotional need to be of service to humanity. It's very service oriented. So here it is. I found it. Yeah, like definitely like you look to like have a like your ideal partner is someone who can really like help broaden your horizons. Maybe they're of a different culture. And then there's lots of like communication, a high level of like philosophical communication that goes down between you guys. Now, with that said, Black Moon Lilith is also there. And Black Moon Lilith in Sagittarius, conjunct Mercury, this is just kind of like a probability. It's like something that can go wrong. Something that like when you're in your shadow, it can come out. And that can just be like kind of pushing your ideals and like the things that you believe in too much on other people. Like if you're like got into astrology, for example, like kind of having like an energy where like everyone needs to believe in astrology. Like I need to like really push it on other people. Also connected and also like, yeah, like some ego connected to like your wisdom, your knowledge. Also, it could be like being overly blunt in your communication because your Mercury is unaspected. So that makes complete sense. In Sagittarius, an unaspected Mercury can make someone who just kind of says things without kind of like with no holdback, no checks and balances, right? They just say whatever. 1 second. So that is important to know about because it's like a self-defeating belief that you just need to know about. Yeah, so like lots of karma in love, lots. Venus, so high sex drive with Venus trine Mars. And this is why I like this so much because it just gives me like keywords. Feelings of warmth and affection, easily expressed, enthusiastic, passionate, and romantic. And yeah, and then conjunct Saturn, I said most of that. Constructive influence in business partnerships, serious and faithful in love. So yeah, it's very good for business partnerships. So Mars is only trine Saturn, and you have Mars in Taurus. So many successful people have Mars in Taurus. It's loosely, it is opposite Pluto, loosely though, but I'm gonna count it, even though it's like 8 degrees. That counts in my book. So Mars in Taurus by itself is an energy of it's an 11th house, so there can be like quarrels with like friends and groups or organizations, things that you join. But and especially the fact that that's opposite Pluto in the 5th house, it can create like lots like some like almost like violent confrontations, but it's not. It's a, you know, it's separated by 8 degrees, which definitely counts. But it's not like a tight one. But still, Mars and Pluto to get like in hard aspect is like, it doesn't get more difficult, and there's definitely a need for like physical exercise to like release some of that stress that can accumulate. And yeah, it can lead to like fights with friends, and just overall like very volcanic energy that can come out. Because Taurus, Mars, they don't get angry that fast, but you know the anger of the bull, it builds up, and then it explodes, right? So when it has Pluto opposing it, it kind of says that like you'll meet your shadow a lot through like friends that kind of trigger you, right? And yeah, and then that Pluto being in the 5th house, Pluto is like a very important point in your chart as well, that rules like kind of like your shadow work that you need to do. And Pluto in the 5th house is like everyone who has that, they have this real like purpose in their life, this real creative purpose they're trying to figure out, right? It's like about like really taking time on your own to like invest in yourself creatively and take a massive creative risk. And you know, there may be some darkness there. There may be some energy where you feel as though you know, every time you try to kind of like get into that creative mindset, like forces kind of pull you back. But yeah, you can really feel like intuitively like this lifetime is a special lifetime, you know, like there's something really like special about this. I'm really here to kind of like to show myself, to really like yeah, it goes with your north node in Capricorn, right? Because it's like it's it's basically sextiling it, and it's really just, you know, talking about how is it, it's aspect, and it sextiles your moon, your sun. So yeah, it's really like when you do take creative risks, you get really rewarded, and it's really helping your north node karma. But really, like, you know, the north node there is about like moving towards a life where you're more mature, where you become almost like your own father, right? Your own parent. Like in past lives, you may have like been like kind of like afraid to take risks, kind of clinging to like, you know, like family and stuff like that. In this life, you're meant to be way more independent, and not, you know, like not like burden others, like, because like Saturn in Aquarius can burden others with their own emotional issues, even if you were a healer. So yeah, it's like challenging yourself to be responsible in this lifetime. And then yeah, like I said before, it's like letting go of ego-centered actions when it comes to relationships, and learning to devote your life to like others and to service, and to your, you know, to your career, to your public life, right? To your dharma. It's not just career, it's like your dharma, like what you're here to do on a higher level. Because there can be like a very easy tendency to just like go for being like the mother, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that you're here to really explore a lot, right? Like, of course, you can still have kids and you can still have a very successful marriage, but when it starts to get in the way of your, you know, you find that higher version of you on a like an individual, like individualizing and on a level of individualization, that's when it's not good. But yeah, so Mercury unaspected, like I said, these people sometimes they like, especially in Sag, like get in trouble for the things they say. But yeah, you like to talk about different cultures and learn about different cultures, learn about different philosophies. You know, speaking could be something that play like in that play, you know, about this can be something that really plays into your daily life. And yeah, it's just about learning kind of how to hold back from trying to like persuade other people who aren't ready to hear things. But yeah, you're really like, you seek knowledge to expand your worldview, and it's all about like trying to find truth and trying to like surround yourself with other people who are also like that. If you schedule a follow-up, I'll talk to you about something very private. It's a group that I don't really talk about it. It's kind of very private, but you'll have to remind me if we do a follow-up, and I'll invite you to join, but it's not something I talk about. So yeah, so we talked about all that house, talk about this. Mars and Saturn, that's really good for like just like being able to like follow through on plans. Let's see what it says here. Powerful endurance, ability to succeed in spite of harsh circumstances, disciplined, indomitable. So that just like, you know, your Capricorn held back, you know, just so many setbacks, especially when young. You have probably had to like mature really at a really young age. So yeah, and I think that would also like in some level that goes with your Juno. Your ideal partner is also someone who can, you know, you can have fun with, right? And your fifth house Pluto is like, because of like that tendency to where you have to kind of like mature and become kind of like this like older figure at a younger age. It's like, you know, now how can you let loose and have fun, right? And your vertex in Sagittarius in sixth house, your doorway to higher awareness is through being a service to humanity. And you know, in terms of partnerships, like you'll come off as this this very philosophical, kind of like almost worldly, just interested in tons of different truths and really wanting to discuss these, just like I was saying before. So yeah, and after that, talk about this, talk about all that. Jupiter and Leo, second house, that is the financial guardian angel energy. Every person I've ever had who's, and Capricorn's all about their money. We know that. We don't have to say that. Capricorns, they care about that ching ching ching. Now, when you're you know, when your Jupiter is in that type of in second house, it literally, like, I've had clients where they're like, yeah, like I lost my job, and then like 2 weeks later, like I just got like a job that was like pay me 2 times more. And this has been like a trend, you know, it's that kind of stuff. So now we got some asteroids or some fixed stars to talk about. So you have one of the more unfortunate ones, Algol conjunct your Mars. Now Algol gets a really bad rap as like the demon star. It's linked to like the myth of Medusa, and you know, Algol, you know, it has to do with like decapitation, and it's like one of the most evil stars. But like it's not like that bad. It's actually like it's very spiritual, right? And it is it's kind of like one of these stars where it's like very much linked to how you use it. If that makes sense. 1 second here. I'm looking for something. And it's, yeah, so it's within 0.30, so it's same degree, but it's not like touching. And then I'm trying to see, and then you also have your Mars conjunct. Is that Sirius? No. What am I talking about? Mars is, no, Ascendant's conjunct Sirius, right? That's Sirius, isn't it? Yeah, so Sirius conjunct Ascendant. Okay. Okay. So let's look at this. So yeah, Algol on the Ascendant is actually very good and gives honor and preferment. It's actually like one of the better places to have it. It's just like I would look into like the mythology of Algol and see, you know, what you learn about it, right? Because there's a lot to it and it's very esoteric. It can kind of create like a very primitive nature if someone's like in their like kind of base animalistic mind, but and like be very violent. It can lead to accidents. Wait, actually, no, you have Mars conjuncted. Sorry. So it says Mars conjunct, or if Mars be elevated above the luminaries when Algol is angular, the knave will be a murderer who will come to an ultimately end. The same is caused by Algol angular or with the high leg. Very difficult, and it just says very difficult to avoid accidents and severe injuries. Don't worry about the murderer ones because Robert De Niro, Nancy Pelosi, Salvador Dali all have that. So then Moon and Sirius, that's, you know, or was it? I think it was Ascendant. So yeah, like you got to watch out for that Mars and for that anger because it's also opposite Pluto. So yeah, really like learning grounding because you can really like let loose if like the anger gets out of control. But, like the whole part of you having Capricorn really helps you in this situation. So Ascendant, it just says military honors. What? But Sirius is like very ambitious, very good for like for money, honor, stuff like that. So yeah, it's a good one. Now, aside from that, let's see if there's anything at 20 Pisces. I know there isn't already. Nope. 23 Sag, I know there isn't. And Jupiter and Saturn, 26 Capricorn, 11 Leo. Oh, I didn't say enough about the Leo part. Leo, Jupiter, it makes one, it just expands everything do with Leo, so it makes one very, very creative and on this like very like enthusiastic quest for truth, right? And sometimes, but like it's like the rest of your chart kind of holds back some of that energy. That can make it be a little bit over the top. So yeah, it's actually like a needed energy in your chart. The 26. Let's see what this is all about. Okay. And last thing I'll do is this. Okay, we're looking. And I guess Vega's conjunct Neptune. Does that do anything? I'm just learning, like these stars. It's like I've just been learning about them in the last 6 months. But it's hard to remember like all these, like, you know. Okay, so Neptune conjunct Vega. Timid, fond of music, occult interest, practical and scientific of mind, associated with, and this is a big star in Vega. It's one of the more important ones. Associated with occult societies, material success, home may be broken up, liable to accidents. Okay. A tendency for occult and mysticism may be given. Cool. Cool. And yeah. And that's that. That's it, I believe. Let me just go back and double check. Oh, I there's one thing I need to look. I need to look for. Nope, none of those. Yeah, so you're on your North Node journey, Capricorn, trying to become, you know, more Capricorn. So you could research also like what's the high energy of Capricorn, right? And what's the low energy? I just dropped my crystal. Please say it didn't break. What's the high energy? What's the low energy of Capricorn? And really trying to like embody that high energy. So, anyways, that's it. Hope you enjoyed. I hope to hear from you about the follow-up. I highly suggest. And also another thing, most people, they do this. They get the follow-up and they also get the current astrology reading. That is a live reading. I will give like a mega discount if you do the follow-up and that one. And yeah, it's live. We do it on Zoom. I present. I can definitely like record it and post it privately, of course, like so only you see it because your face will be in it. And we talk about all the current astrology, how everything is affecting you right now. Like there can be a transit you might be having right now that's like going on. I can give you the key dates, kind of like what to anticipate, because astrology, what I just gave you now is your birth chart. This never changes, right? The current astrology, on the other hand, it's always changing. So it's good to get a report, you know, every year. I don't always do it every year, but like it's very beneficial after like a natal chart reading to see what's going on from a current perspective, because like you can get like a natal chart reading, but you can have a certain transit going on where you're like, whoa, that's like totally coloring the lens of my current situation in a different way. And it can kind of shine light onto like something that didn't resonate in the natal reading, right? So anyways, let me know about you know, either one or both. And yeah, thank you so much and talk to you soon. Ciao. And my crystal says bye too. All right.